All right, we are going to go ahead and get started with this virtual event for industrial engineering. My name is Andy Osborne. I'm the recruiting and outreach manager for the LSU College of Engineering. Some of you may have interacted with me throughout your time as a prospective student as you were gathering information about LSU and specifically the College of Engineering. I help you guys through the application process and really through the whole college decision and admission cycle. I'm excited always to welcome you guys here kind of towards the end of that cycle as you're getting ready to actually start your college career in just a few weeks at LSU. This event is specific to industrial engineering, and we do our best to provide you guys with some really useful information about the field as a whole, and then what you can expect from industrial engineering at the College of Engineering at LSU, and then also give you guys a chance to ask any questions or get more clarification on scheduling questions and things like that as you are getting ready to start in just a few weeks. I think with that being said, I do want to mention that we'll probably spend about 45 minutes or so providing information to you, but throughout we welcome questions. So I see that you guys are introducing yourself there in the chat. Please do stay active in there as Dr. Namens, who will be giving you all the information you need as she's covering what she's prepared. You can chime in with a question in the chat at any point, and then I will definitely relay those to her and we'll make sure that we get those questions answered for you. So the more information you're providing there, the more questions you're asking, the better we'll be able to do in getting you the information that you need. So I will look for you guys in the chat and probably pop back up a few times throughout, but I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Isa Namens, who is the undergraduate director for industrial engineering at the College of Engineering at LSU.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for logging in today. And my my objective today is just to go over IE and kind of show you a little bit of the different areas, talk to you about the program, what opportunities you have, and just the curriculum and what the idea of our program is. As you know, industrial engineering, it's one of those engineering that's not easy to tell what we do. There are other disciplines within engineering that it's pretty easy to say, you know, civil, they build stuff, right? They build buildings, they build roads. Chemical engineering, they deal with chemicals. Industrial engineering, it's way broader than all that. And the neat thing about IE is that it does give you some, you know, you're versatile where you can go into any industry and you can go in even within a specific industry with in different areas. So that's kind of my hope of today, to kind of show you that a little bit. Just from this first slide background here that we have, you can see different industries. So industrial engineers can go in working into manufacturing, perhaps building airplanes, designing airplanes. In Boeing, for instance, you can look at jobs in supply chain and logistics like Amazon. All the logistics that happens behind the scenes to get that product that you order on your doorsteps within 2 days. You know, IEs usually have a hand on that, making sure that that process is optimal. Also, manufacturing is one of the most common ones, but also construction. So perhaps being the project manager to execute a construction project, oil and gas. And it's not only on manufacturing or, you know, places where you actually build a product that you can find at ease. You can also find at ease in service type of industry. So for instance, Disney, right? They don't have an actual product that you walk away with, but the whole experience that customers experience during the time in the park, that is something that is designed to make sure that it's optimal for the you know, for the customers. Healthcare is another area, and we'll talk a little bit about of all that so that you can kind of get familiar with. So the first thing I want to do is share a video with you. So hold on in there for a second. It's not the most recent video. It was recorded by the Institute of Industrials and Systems Engineer, which is our professional chapter. But it has a lot of information and, shows you the different disciplines and different industries that IEs can go into. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you. It's only a 5-minute video, but I think it does a really good job in showcasing the profession.
I work for NASA at the Kennedy Space Center, assembling and testing an international laboratory in space.
My work helps patients at our hospital get better care.
Every day I am improving how we make some of America's favorite treats.
Our motto is we never forget who we're working for, and who we work for is the U.S. military.
Within 10 years, every hospital in the nation will have an industrial engineer associated with their team.
I help create magical moments at one of the world's most famous places.
Industrial engineers are problem solvers, people who find that it's creative and fun to make things work better.
The International Space Station travels around the Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. That's 16 times a day. 6 astronauts from different countries live there, performing experiments that would benefit life on Earth. I lead a team of people that assembles and checks out the hardware that will be flown to space, which will then be used by our scientists. This module just came back from space, and actually we opened up the hatch yesterday. As an industrial engineer, I'm contributing to one of the greatest technological achievements in human history.
I like my job because it's different every day. In this plant, we make about 1 million pounds of chocolate every day. Even in a company as successful as Hershey, industrial engineers can always help improve what we do. We ended up collecting rows of bars and looking at the almond percentage by bar. Our Hershey bars with almonds did not always have a consistent number of almonds. I led a team to make design changes to the equipment, so now the bars have a more consistent number of almonds. Now we are producing better quality bars, our customers are happy, and the company is saving money.
Lockheed Martin is the #1 defense contractor for the United States government. I'm responsible for the operations element of the missiles and fire control business. The approach we're going to take to build and test things, the manpower we're going to need, the technology support, the whole backbone of what we do is all around the culture, what I'll call the culture of being an IE. When my customer comes back and tells me that the products I made saved their lives, there's no more customer satisfaction better than that.
Industrial engineers are the kind of people that find the shortest, quickest, cheapest, best way to do something and think it's fun to solve that puzzle.
We try to strive for delivering excellence and quality in all we do.
Not only do they have good technical skills, they're good in math and science and computers, but they also have good people skills. They learn how businesses work. They learn how the world works.
They look at the whole picture, and they try to understand where it all fits.
Starting salaries now are in the $55,000 to $65,000 range. Industrial engineers are in more demand today than they ever have been.
Because there's so many things you can do with IE, I don't really feel worried about my next step in my career.
Hospitals today are busier than ever, so it's really important that each patient gets fast and quality care. As an industrial engineer, I work directly with doctors and nurses. And you find that having a standard process with a huddle has really improved your metrics as opposed to what you were doing before. We develop ideas to make the hospital run more efficiently and make procedures like lab testing more accurate. And seeing patients get better and seeing them happy about their care, it really means a lot, and it makes you want to come to work every day.
I remember coming to the theme parks as a kid. I wanted to experience everything. Now my job at Disney is to make sure our parks and resorts are fun and efficient, so our guests get the full experience. I observe how our attractions are operating and analyze data to make improvements. New changes to Space Mountain are making wait times shorter and more entertaining. Think about the number of people that come through our turnstiles, and getting the opportunity to say, yep, I had a hand in improving their experience is definitely rewarding.
From the products on our shelves to the efficiency of our trucks, industrial engineers contribute to Walmart's role as a global leader in sustainability.
My job is to create technology that makes it easy to capture and share life's most important moments.
Industrial engineers help our airports operate more safely and efficiently.
I study the new and innovative ways people work today so my company can develop products for the future.
I develop new methods to keep our factory workers safer on the job.
At the American Red Cross, industrial engineers coordinate disaster relief to the world's neediest people.
I'm able to help create a corporate vision and develop a path to get there.
As an industrial engineer, I help to advance the future of space exploration.
I work for a company that builds medical devices so people can live longer, healthier lives.
Our team of industrial engineers finds the best way to transport our products to more than 1,000 stores.
My company makes equipment to diagnose all kinds of patient injuries and illness.
As an industrial engineer, I'm improving products for the global auto industry.
Industrial engineering gives me a unique and different perspective to improve the way my company does business.
I try to drive continuous process improvement every day.
Industrial engineering opens up opportunities throughout the company. You can pretty much go anywhere.
We're tackling new challenges and coming up with creative solutions to make our company better.
And all those things I learned in my IE program, I apply every day here.
It's exciting to use my industrial engineering skills to deliver a great guest experience.
My job is rewarding because I know I'm making a difference in people's lives.
Industrial engineers are the leaders of today and tomorrow.
Every day is a different adventure. It's truly the dream job.
All right, so one thing that I want to highlight from the video is, again, you saw, different roles within IEs, right? Some IEs are working on the job floor, whereas others are more office type of work. So that's kind of what makes IE, fits several personalities type of students because of that. So let's move on with this slide. One thing that you might not be thinking about right now, but you do have to kind of look at the future and look at what the job outlook looks like. So here we have an increase. Basically what this slide says, a study that the US Bureau of Labor Statistics did, that there is going to be a growth of 10% by the year 2026. So if you start, your degree today and graduate in 4 years, so we're kind of on the timeline of that growth. So basically what this means is that whenever you graduate, you'll be able to have plenty of opportunities to, a lot of different IE jobs available for you. So my goal and, the goal of the program is to make sure that, yes, you complete your program, that you complete all the curriculum for industrial engineering, but then also you build your resume so that you position yourself better to get the job that you want whenever you're ready to do so. And that comes with internship, that comes with different activities that you do while you're at LSU. So this is basically just giving you sort of like heads up where your degree could take you, right? So there's no concern, and you also heard that in the video, there's not really a big concern on, where I might end up. You can switch industries and still be able to find jobs. So that's kind of the neat thing about IE, that it gives you that opportunity. So what do we do? A lot of what we do, our game is efficiency, right? We always try to optimize everything that we do. As you saw in the video, you can play a role in the design of the product or the service, or you can play a role on improving the actual manufacturing production of that product. So it basically focuses on design and improving systems that optimize all the inputs so that you can get the best product out of it, or the best service out of it. So we think about everything that goes into that system or process: machines, materials, information, people, everything that needs to be done to be able to get that product. So we try to find the best way to combine all of that so that you get the optimal output of that product or service. There's some specific objective that we might look at. For instance, if you're in manufacturing, you might be looking at meeting the production rate quota that you have, or the service requirements that you might have if you're in the service industry, making sure that the product quality and the reliability is consistent, making sure you don't have variability in your product, that is consistently meeting those standards that you have for your product or service. Ensuring safety and satisfaction, not only for the customer, but also for the workers, the people that your internal customer, the people that are actually producing and working those lines, ensuring that all the resources are used effectively and efficiently as possible. Again, there's different systems or processes that we can work in, like you saw in the video. So here's more of a picture of that. Some of the areas that we go into and that some of our students that graduate have ended up, there's specific chunks of type of industries that you might go into. So manufacturing is a big one, from manufacturing aircraft to manufacturing cars to manufacturing food with Bimbo, for instance. So there's a variety of manufacturings that IEs can go into. Supply chain and distribution systems, it's another big one. So if you think about Walmart, Target, anything, any company that moves the product or the service, from whatever that product is produced till the end customer, and how you get it there the most efficient way, UPS, FedEx, and so on. There's then some service industries, the ones that don't produce necessarily something tangible, like financial. So we have students that have gone to work into financial institutions doing a lot of their data analysis and analytics. Healthcare, that's a big area, very big, most recent, maybe 10 years, where healthcare has been hiring industrial engineers. So from, hospital to improve their operations, their safety, their, patient satisfaction, to manufacturing of healthcare equipment. So we have a really good relationship with GE Healthcare. A lot of our students do internship with them, and after that internship, whenever they're ready to graduate, they usually end up getting jobs there because they like that their company. Maintenance is another area. Construction, it's another type of service industry. Consulting, it's a major sector where IEs can go into. Perhaps a lot of our students go and find internships or jobs at Deloitte, which is basically an audit company that can help other businesses be better. So IEs can find jobs there, as well as government and non-for-profit organizations. So like you saw in the video, the Red Cross, right? So the whole logistics of getting those medical supply, or food to areas that has been devastated. What's the best way to get that there and help that region, for instance. So IEs can play a role in that. So these are kind of the major sectors within industry that IEs can find jobs in. One thing that our program is big in is internships or co-ops. So we try to make sure that our students are exposed to that. We start that in your intro class. You're going to hear me, saying, sign up for the career fair, go and check out what companies are looking for in IEs, to make sure, because that's the time early on in your time at LSU is when you want to build that resume, so that you make sure you have 4 years to fill the gaps that you might not have yet, and get ready to look good and have a resume that stands out. So you won't be another IE. You'll be an LSU IE with this, experiences and with this leadership, skills and so forth, that will stand out among other IEs in the pile, right? 90% of our students do at least one internship. So again, there's a huge correlation between internship, getting that experience from industry, and the number of job offers that you get at the end of the 4 years once you're ready to graduate. As far as starting salaries, there's a range here. This is one that, from some of our recent graduates, if you will. It's pretty broad because it depends on the industry that you go into. So manufacturing might have a starting salary for IE at this level, whereas oil and gas might have a higher one. So that's why you see, a big range there. So one thing that IEs usually tend to have is not only your technical skills, you're good in math, good in science, but also you have business skills, and you'll have interpersonal skills. And those skills are things that we work with you. So you'll have classes to build up that technical and that business side. And you'll have different experiences going through our program, which will help you build those interpersonal skills, right? You'll presentation skills and things like that. We'll work on those. But at ease, I tend to be called the people engineers, just because we deal with a lot of people to be able to do our job. So we are basically, I always say, we're sort of like the bridge between the very technical and management and the business side of that company or that business. And we have students that are very technical and want to stay on the technical side of things, and that's fine. You can do that with an IE degree. If you want to be in the middle, sort of like the project manager, where you're getting, drawings, designs, ideas from your technical group and then executing, selling them to the management side, you can do as well do that. Or if you want to move up into the business side of the company, you can also do that with this degree. So it gives you, a different aspect. So kind of depending on what your personality and what your wants are and where you want to be, can help you do that. An example of some IEs that have become CEO have chosen that path of business and move up to the CEO position in their company. So here's some some examples for you to look at that were IEs as well. One thing that you're going to notice in our curriculum is that industrial engineers kind of borrow a little bit on the background. It came up from mechanical, but then it also has some electrical, computer science, definitely business, and then psychology and physiology type of courses and knowledge that you get to learn while you're doing your degree. And we'll go over some of those. One thing that I want to do is kind of show you the different areas within IE. So, the little clip, and I've been talking a lot about different industries that you can go into, but within IE, there's different areas you can also go into. One area is logistics, supply chain, and distribution. Again, getting that product wherever it's produced to the end customer, or if you want to work for more of the logistics of, airline or, airport, figuring out the logistics of the baggage, flights coming in and out, optimizing all of that. IEs can play a role in it. Production control, looking at a facility, manufacturing, and trying to understand where you have to have specific control so that you can meet the production that you need to meet for that, and developing production schedules, and so forth. Manufacturing systems and facility design. So with that is basically looking at production processes and how do you put all those production processes for a specific line of product within a building, within a facility. What's the most optimal way to design that facility so product flows through that facility optimally. Manufacturing processes. So if you are looking at how are you going to produce, a specific product, what tooling, what machining should you use, what kind of material should you have, so that you can have that process be efficient. Automation and industrial robotics. So looking at, nowadays in manufacturing, you see a lot of different robotics doing activities that used to be labor intensive. So for example, painting, for a car manufacturing. So understanding the capacity of that robotic system so that you can, propose or design that production system and say, we need 3 of those to be able to meet the production quota that we need to, and improve productivity, for instance. Computer automation and systems integration. So looking at how you integrate, the factory systems under one computer control so that you can have a better control over what's going on your manufacturing. Also, if you see this system here, it's basically a gauge system that shows you the different parts of the factory, and you can make decisions on, if you're going to route a product to this line or to the other line, or if you shut this valve, what's going to do with the product on another one. Information systems is another area. We do a lot of, use statistics to make decisions to optimize your systems. So information system is very important. Understanding how to pull data from databases and how to be able to manipulate that data so that you can do your analysis and make decisions on those processes is important. It's another big area for AEs. Statistical applications, so looking at quality control, reliability engineering, making sure that everything that comes out of that production line has some level of consistency. So it's meeting the specifications all the time within some parameters, so that you don't have defects, right? So you don't, defects means waste, waste means the company's losing money. And making sure that that product is reliable, that it's consistently performing as it was intended to, as it was designed to. So making sure that all those complex systems within that factory are on the right spot to be able to have that consistent and not, reduce variation. Another area is human factors and ergonomics, and that is basically looking at the human interface, not only with computer, but with equipment, with product. So depending on where, the supply chain you are, if you're in the design part, so maybe you'll be looking at how to design the best interface for an electronics, right? Making sure that it's user friendly, that the sequence of steps makes sense for the user. So that makes the product more appealing and people buy it more. If you are more into the equipment, so perhaps, designing or selecting a lifting aid so that workers don't have to, lift a lot of weight in a continuous basis during their jobs, and then, computer systems. So perhaps looking at this airplane gauges. Where do you put the gauges so the pilot can look at or can look and fly the plane better? Or if there's an emergency alarm, is it a visual alarm or is it something that they can hear? Depending what makes sense for that specific task. So looking at how you integrate the human elements of things into that specific task. So that's one of the big areas that IEs have. Another one is project engineering or project management. So that one moved more into the less technical and the more in the middle area where you're looking at, specific things that you have to either build, produce, and being able to control and manage cost and time to make sure that that project is delivered within the time, the time it was parameters and the cost. So those are kind of major areas within IE that you can go into. And if you think about most type of companies or industries that you can think of would have some kind of that area where you can actually, find jobs there, right? So for instance, if you like healthcare, so healthcare has, from building a hospital, how do you design that? So thinking about facility design, that area within IE, looking at quality control. So in healthcare will be a hospital, how do you get patients through the hospital in a safe manner? How you make sure that every operation that happens or surgery that happens there follows safety procedures. So process improvement, facility design, different areas within IE, within one industry. So one thing that I wanted to kind of go over with you guys today was just the curriculum itself. In the curriculum for industrial engineering, and you'll become familiar with the flow chart. So this is what we call the flow chart. If somebody asks you what a flow chart is, this is what it is. It shows you all the courses that you have to take to be able to complete your industrial engineering degree. So we have 120 hours, credit hours, and you have, your fall, your spring semester. One thing that you have to be aware of is the IE courses are either in, there are specific fall courses and specific spring courses. So whenever you're selecting which course you're going to take, you have to follow kind of the right sequence. Otherwise, it could push you behind. So that's something to just kind of keep an eye on. The solid line means that you need to take a class before you take the other one. So it is a prerequisite. So for instance, Calculus 1, you have to take Cal 1 before you take Cal 2. So Cal 1 will be a prerequisite for Cal 2. The dash line means it's a co-requisite. That means you can take them in the same semester together. So you can take, for instance, you can take the intro class, the IE fundamentals class with the intro of computer class. You can take them the same semester. So one thing that you're going to notice, and if you're already at Declare IE or if you're undecided, one thing that is critical is for your first semester, obviously your math and your science is going to depend, and your English is going to depend on your or on your test score and where you were placed, but you want to make sure you're taking a math course, you want to make sure you're taking a science course, and you want to make sure you're taking your English if you have to still take it, okay? And then for IE, it's very important for you to take that intro class, IE 1002. That is one of the first classes in IE that you want to take. And the purpose of it is that obviously you want to make sure you have it so that you can then meet the prerequisite for the following courses, but then at the same time, the IE group that takes that class in the fall, it's the same group that tends to stay together, throughout the other classes. So those are going to be your peers throughout the whole 4 years that you'll be taking the other classes, because they will all follow that fall and spring schedule of courses. So it's very important for you to, if you're not registered yet in that class, to do so that way you can start in the right cycle, if you will. The intro class is also, a class, I teach that class. It helps us also connect you with the different resources and the different things that you need to be doing so that you can build that resume. Again, the game is not just to get you till the end of the flowchart, but also to build that resume. Make sure that you get to know the IE faculty, make sure that you get to know the IE students, and start building that network of future, colleagues that it's going to help you, in the future. All the different areas that I just discussed, you're going to see that are kind of built into, there's 2 IT courses, the Intro to Computer and then the Info Systems. There's 2 supply chain and logistics courses. There's a quality and Six Sigma course, project management. There's a sequence of manufacturing. There's a course in plan layout and lean manufacturing. One of the biggest, bottlenecks, if you will, not bottlenecks, but kind of the decising course that you need to, take is statistics. Everything that we do, everything that we do is based on statistics. So, kind of taking that basic statistic will open up the other IE courses that you'll take. Taking physics 2 will get you there. So that's one of the core classes. And if you haven't taken statistics before, it's just a different type of math. It's not harder or easier. It's just a different type of math. It looks more at patterns. Because if you remember when we're talking about what IEs do, optimizing, understanding what goes into the process and what comes out of the process, we want to optimize what's coming into that process so that we get the results that we want at the end. So statistics helps us do that, helps us make decisions on the system. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about here is senior design. So you'll have 2 semesters of senior design. And what senior design is a group-based project that you'll be working on a real engineering issue for a local company. It could be a healthcare company, it could be one of our local hospitals, it could be one of our local logistics distribution centers for grocery, for instance, or it could be a manufacturing. So there are local companies that bring forward an engineering issue. So the team that's assigned to that, you get to rank the top 3 projects that you want to work on. So we give you some flexibility. We want to make sure that you're, working in a project that you care, in an area that you care for. So the first semester goes out to the company, tries to document that issue and make sure that that it is indeed an issue, statistical proof that there is, and then comes up with potential solutions. The team presents those potential solutions during that first semester to the company, and the company decides which alternative they want to go with. The second semester, the team goes out there and actually implements. So they physically change the process, or puts in place that solution that they came up with. and collects data and tries to see the impact. So that again basically gives you another 9 months of working within a company, has an external consultant, if you will, but it gives you that hands-on experience of using all the knowledge that you gained for your previous classes into this one project. So it is a good way to kind of, again, build that resume and get some hands-on experience. We do have some different opportunities, again, depending on what flavor you want to give it to your IA degree. There's an EMBA in 5 years opportunity where you start taking MBA courses the 4th year, or your last year doing the bachelor's. And that's something that you don't have to decide right the first semester. You actually decide that right before you start your junior year, and we can start talking about that. Obviously, GPA is a major factor. You need to have a good GPA to even be considered for the program. Minors. So I don't know if you know much about minors, but minors is kind of a concentration of courses that you take that give you sort of like a specialty knowledge on something. So e-commerce is, nowadays very, very popular, because any company that has a website that does any kind of transactions in the internet needs somebody to optimize those transactions, from procurement to the transactions themselves, how they get done. This e-commerce minor started with the support of IBM, but now it has grown into students taking it to other type of industries that deal with e-commerce applications in supply chain and things like that. So if that's an area that you want to go into, our curriculum has 3 electives that you need to take, technical elective. And what students do is they choose the elective based on the minor they want to take or the specific area they want to get more knowledge for, and use those technical elective taking those classes. Healthcare certificate is another one. So if you're interested in going to healthcare, once you get your degree, the healthcare certificate, in order to acquire that, you need to take a healthcare course that we offer. The healthcare has a tech elective. Then there's a healthcare seminar that you'll take in spring, where we'll bring in IEs or other professionals that are in the field of healthcare, either dealing with IE type of subjects like quality, safety, and things like that. And it's more of like a seminar. They come and talk, and you write a paper about it. You have to select your senior design project has to be a healthcare project, and we have plenty of those. And then the last thing is an internship. And we do have a healthcare advisory board that helps us acquire internships during the summer. And then we also have good relationship with other healthcare type of industry. And when I say healthcare, it's not just hospital. Again, it could be manufacturing of healthcare equipment and anything in between. So those are different things, again, to differentiate yourself. And it's okay if you don't know, if you don't, at this point, you don't know which area you want to go into. That's the whole point of taking that intro class. That's the whole point of taking all the classes. As you move through that curriculum, you'll start getting, ideas on what you want to focus on as you start getting to know more. Major recommendation is to get involved. So the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers, that is a professional organization for industrial engineers. And there's a student chapter on campus. They are pretty active. They do tours to different businesses so that you can go and see IEs on action, if you will. They have social events where they meet and they go bowling, or they do events to network. Industry speakers will come and talk once a month. And then we also have the annual regional student conference, which is part of IISC, that we usually tend to send an LSU group to those conferences. And last year we actually hosted it at LSU. If you need more information on this, there's the website. It talks about, again, different careers, different options, different things that you can do with your IE degree. So basically the sky's the limit. With the ISE, what I always say to students, first of all, become a member. That's the first step, and then get involved. There's usually a lot of volunteer opportunities that you can do, that you can participate, besides just the official officer slates that they have. But eventually, you want to get to that point. Here are some pictures. We have Brandon presenting in the conference. You see some crawfish broils, some social events. At the bottom here, you have a visit group visiting a manufacturing and so on. And this is my last slide. Well, I'm just going to kind of leave you my contact information. Our program is within the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department. And I'm Dr. Namens. You got my contact info. And our department chair is Dimitris Nikotopoulos. And if you have any questions, and I haven't checked the chat, let's see if there's any. Andy, do we have any questions?
No, we haven't had any yet. So
okay.
Now that you've kind of wrapped up, those of you that are here in attendance, let us know if you have any questions. We'll stay here for up until 6 if we needed to answer your questions. So please do, if you have any, go ahead and send those in to us. While we're kind of waiting to see if y'all have anything there, I did want to mention that following this event, really the last virtual event that will be provided by the college is coming up, I think next week, and it's going to be about time management and study skills as a not only a college student, but specifically as an engineering student at LSU. And so I'm going to drop the link to register for that here in the chat as well. So if you click, oh, that is the wrong link, my apologies. Here you go, try this one. That will take you to the registration page for that event. And it would be really, really helpful if you are, kind of just thinking about what it will be like to become a college student as opposed to a high school student, as far as like how much time it takes for each class and the best way to study for kind of STEM specific and engineering specific type of classes. Looks like we do have a question here from Lizette. Are there any research assistant opportunities or other resources to look for that would be useful for the IE major?
Yes, so as far as research assistant opportunities, it's basically, I'll say, wait your first semester so you get to know the faculty. I would highly encourage you guys to go and visit, even though, your first semester will kind of take the intro class, so that would just be me. But if you can go to the other professors' offices and kind of introduce yourself and see what kind of research they're doing and see if they have any needs for assistantship. So that's basically the way you do that. The college has other opportunities as well, where they hire undergrads for different things. There is undergrad research, but it's tied to what the faculty research is. So for instance, I can talk to you about what I do have. Currently, I have one undergrad doing research for me, and mostly is on lean manufacturing and standardization of processes. And I have had other students do undergrad research on healthcare and try to optimize different processes within healthcare. So it depends. I would say first go to the website, kind of look and see what the different areas of research for the IE faculties are, and then you can go and visit, email them and say, do you have a current project where you need help? Or if you just want to do your undergrad research, has thesis options for some of those honor students. So I've had a few of those in the past. I have one right now where she's basically doing her thesis, honor thesis based on the research she's doing. So there's not really a paid internship per se, but it is, they are developing those research skills that will help them if they're thinking about going to graduate school later on.
Yeah, very good question. I also had opened up the floor to see if anybody had any questions specifically about scheduling, since that is obviously something that you're all probably thinking through or just making sure that you've got in good shape for this first fall. And Dr. Namens talked through a lot of that, but sometimes there are very specific questions that will pop up there. I did also want to circle back, Dr. Namens. I saw one of the students said that they were thinking about wanting to, work for Disney, be an Imagineer. I know that one of the students that works for me, Madeline Hutchinson, she's an ME and went and did work with Disney. Do you know if there's any other students recently who have done internships from industrial engineering?
Absolutely. Disney's a popular one. They actually have an IE department, and then they have analyticals and supply chain and different, units that are IE related. So the internships, there's two. So I would say, and that would be something that I usually coach the students. There is one type of internship where they just, you're at the park and they basically put you regardless of majors. The ones that you want to look for are the professional internships, because once you tell them you're an IE, then they will pair you up with an IE person so that you can actually see the IE type of work that they can do in Disney. So there's different type of internships. I actually do have, friends that graduated with me back in the days from my bachelor's that work at Disney. So I've been, able to make connections there for our students. We do have at least 3 that I can think of right now that are actually recent graduates in the past maybe 3 years that are working with Disney. So it is a popular employer but the internships are really good. They're very competitive, but they're pretty good. Students really do get exposed to a lot of IE work.
Great. Yeah, thanks for sharing a little bit more about that, since I know that was a specific interest. We are still waiting for any more questions, so I'm going to pitch one more question to you, Dr. Naumann, similar to the Disney one. And I guess by the time, once we've finished answering that question, if there aren't any other questions coming in, we'll probably go ahead and start wrapping things up. But the other main interest that I saw a student mention was working in healthcare, which you touched on several different times throughout your presentation. But if you maybe could just like recap or speak to those one more time about the ways you see industrial engineers working in healthcare, and maybe some specific examples of students that you've known in the last few years.
Sure. So we do have that healthcare certificate. So that's been sort of like the funnel where we're funneling our students to the different internships, internships from hospitals. So looking at different things, we had a graduate maybe a year ago. She worked with Baton Rouge General and helped them design one of their emergency clinics. She used a lot of her, quality facility design and quality class knowledge that she gained to be able to help them design, so that the facility was easy for patients to flow through and employees to go and get the materials they needed, and each room had the proper layout and so forth within the limitations of the place. And then she went on to do an internship the following summer with GE Healthcare. And now she works for GE Healthcare after she graduated. So we get a lot of students that go that route. GE Healthcare is another group that provides a lot of internship for our students, hospitals. And then the other big one will be healthcare insurance companies. They also, we have one of our, I guess not his recent graduate, he probably graduated maybe 4 years ago. He works with Louisiana Baton Rouge or Blue Cross Blue Shield in their IT department. So, I mean, there's different areas. So it's not just process improvement, IT, financials, facility design, and so forth that IEs can help in healthcare.
Awesome. Yeah, well, hopefully that all was helpful then to those couple of students with some of those interests. We still haven't had any questions, so I think we'll actually go ahead and wrap things up here for the night. If anybody out there does have questions and just wants to ask them on a more individual basis after this event, feel free to get in touch with Dr. Naumann. You can also contact me by email, so I'll actually go ahead and put that there in the chat as well. And we'd be happy to help you guys out just on a more individual one-on-one basis or longer term as these questions pop up to you. But unless, Dr. Naumann, do you have anything else to say? I think we'll just say thanks, and we'll look
We'll
forward
see you
to
guys
seeing
soon.
you soon, yeah, as you start your career here at LSU. So with that, everybody have a good night.
All right, y'all take care. Thank you.